You let me down, you bitch! I'll learn you to let me down!
From the dark horizon of my future, a sort of slow, persistent breeze had been blowing toward me all my life long, from the years that were to come. And on its way that breeze had leveled out all the ideas that people tried to foist on me in the equally unreal years I was then living through. What difference could they make to me? The deaths of others, or a mother's love, or his God, or the way a man decides to live, the fate he thinks he chooses, since one and the same fate was bound to choose not only me, but thousands of millions of privileged people who, like him, called themselves my brothers. Presently Raymond said he was going for a stroll on the beach. I asked him where he proposed to go. He mumbled about something about wanting to take the air. Those Arabs across the way had a grudge against Raymond. The sun glinted on Raymond's revolver as he handed it to me. The man had gashed Raymond's arm and his mouth as well. He backed away slowly, keeping us at bay with the knife and never taking his eyes off. It was like a furnace outside, with the sunlight splintering into flakes of fire on the sand and the sea. There was the same red glare as far as eye could reach, and small waves were lapping the hot sand in little flurried gasps. As I slowly walked towards the boulders at the end of the beach, I could feel my temples swelling under the impact of light. It struck me that all I had to do was turn, walk away, and think no more about it, but the whole beach, pulsing with heat, was pressing on my back. I took some steps towards the stream. The Arab didn't move. Everything began to reel before my eyes. Every nerve in my body was a steel spring on the revolver. The trigger gave, and the smooth underbelly of the butt jogged my palm. And so with that crisp whip-crack sound, it all began. I shook off my sweat and the clinging veil of light. I knew I'd shattered the balance of the day, the spacious calm of this beach on which I had been happy. But I fired 4 shots more into the inert body, on which they left no visible trace, and each successive shot was another loud, fateful rap on the door of my undoing. Some days later, I was put by myself in a cell where I slept on a plank bed hinged to the wall. The day on which my trial started was one of brilliant sunshine. Next, the judge announced that the court would call over the witness list. Some of the names read out by the clerk rather surprised me. from amongst the crowd, which until now I had
So,
seen as mere
the
blurred
jury will
faces.
appreciate it. Though the third party offered him a cup of coffee, the prisoner should have refused it, if only out of respect for the dead body of the poor woman who had brought him in the world.
No, I shouldn't call him that. But he isn't one to waste his breath, like a lot of folks. To my mind, it was just an accident, or a stroke of bad luck if you prefer. Nothing like that takes you off your guard.
You are here to give evidence, not your views on the case. You must confine yourself to answer the questions put you.
That's as it may be. But what we are here for is try such an accident according to law. You can stand down.
Celeste turned and gazed at me. His eyes were moist and his lips trembling. It was exactly as if he'd say, "Well, I've done my best for you, old man. I'm afraid it hasn't helped much. I'm sorry."
It's the time I was in her office. And we're going to get married.
He asked Marie to give a full account of our doings on the day when I had intercourse with her for the first time. Marie wouldn't answer at first. Then, all of a sudden, Marie burst into tears.
Gentlemen of the jury, I would have you note that on the next day after his mother's funeral, that man was visiting the swimming pool, starting a liaison with a girl, and going to see a comic film. That is all I wish to say.
Raymond was the next and the last witness. He gave me a little wave of his hand and let off by saying I was innocent.
That's not my girlfriend. She's the sister of the Arab. Marisol accidentally killed. You just helped me. It had nothing to do with this. Girls are worthless. They are naggy. They just don't stop. They flirt around. It's irritating. They're annoying. Most of the time they are... God. How do I say this? Listen, man. He's innocent. Just let him get away with this. He had nothing to do with this, I swear.